Sorry, my wife. We're almost there.
Okay, I hope so.
You'll see.
That's the man and his wife. Let's quickly catch up with them and do our job.
Please, have mercy.
Don't hurt us.
Silence! You will obey.
Sir, the job is done. Pay us our balance.
Which job?
The farmer as you ordered.
Which farmer? I said Ogene. You killed the wrong man? You killed Ikenna and his wife? Fools!
In the quiet heart of a land surrounded by thick forests and red earth roads lay a village called Bariza. A village where the moonlight told stories, where drums spoke louder than words, and where destiny, no matter how hidden, always found its way to the surface. In this village lived a man named Ikenna, a respected farmer wealthy in barns, yam fields, and livestock. But more than his wealth, Ikenna was known for something deeper: his kindness. He had two wives, the elder wife, Mama Natasha, and the younger wife, Mama Amanda. Each woman bore him a daughter. The elder wife gave birth to Natasha, a child whose beauty was spoken about from compound to compound. Skin like polished bronze, eyes sharp like a cat, and a carriage that made people turn twice when she walked past. But beauty was where Natasha's praise ended. The younger wife bore Amanda. Amanda too was beautiful, but hers was a quiet beauty, the kind that glowed from within. At just 13, Amanda could sing like the morning birds. She told stories that made elders forget their worries, and when she spoke, even the wind seemed to listen. Villagers would gather in the evenings just to hear her speak. Children sat cross-legged. Women smiled. Men nodded in admiration. And every time Amanda finished, applause filled the air. Such wisdom in a child, they would say. This girl will be great. And each praise pierced Mama Natasha's heart like a thorn. Because while Amanda was loved for her character, Natasha was known only for her face. Jealousy began growing quietly, like a snake in dry grass. Ikenna himself adored Amanda's mother. She was compassionate, respectful, full of profitable ideas that helped the household flourish. But Mama Natasha was harsh, hostile, and easily angered. Yet despite this, Mama Amanda treated her with deep respect, never raising her voice, never challenging her authority. But kindness did not stop hatred from growing. If anything, it made Mama Natasha hate her more. Because love followed Amanda and her mother everywhere, and she could not stand it. One fateful morning, Ikenna prepared to travel with his younger wife to the outskirts of Bariza. They were to meet someone on urgent family matters. As they stepped out, Amanda ran forward. "Papa, let me follow you." Ikenna smiled gently and placed his palm on her head. "No, my daughter. Stay back. Help your stepmother with chores, and play with Amanda." Natasha hissed quietly, but stepped back. That would be the last time she saw her father alive. The road they traveled was lonely, flanked by tall trees that blocked the sun. Halfway through the journey, two men emerged from the bushes, faces covered, swords glinting. Before Ikenna could react, they were stabbed. The forest swallowed their screams. And just like that, Bariza lost a good man and his humble wife. That same night, the killers stood before a wealthy chief in a dim hut. "Sir, the job is done. Pay us our balance." The chief looked up slowly. "Which job?" "The farmer, as you ordered." Silence fell. "What farmer?" the chief asked, voice tightening. "Ogene, the stubborn one." The chief sprang up in fury. "Fools! I said Ogene. Ogene. You killed the wrong man?" The assassins froze. "You killed Ikenna and his wife?" Fear gripped the room. But it was too late. A wrong death had already been written into destiny. Bariza mourned deeply. Women wailed. Men lowered their heads. At Ikenna's compound, Mama Natasha cried the loudest, rolling on the ground, beating her chest. Villagers consoled her till night fell. But when everyone left, and silence swallowed the compound, she stood up. Her tears dried instantly. Then she smiled. Coldly. For every loss, she whispered, there is a profit. The loss is my husband. The profit is that Amanda's light dies with her mother. Her eyes hardened. Now my daughter will shine alone. And that night, oppression was born. From the next few days after the mourning of Ikenna and his wife, life changed. Natasha did no chores. Amanda did everything. Cooking, fetching water, firewood, sweeping, farming, hawking. Natasha wore fine clothes. Amanda wore rags. When villagers came to hear Amanda's stories, Mama Natasha chased them away. No more gatherings here. Slowly, people forgot Amanda's voice. Her talents buried beneath suffering. She was even rented out as labor to villagers, while Mama Natasha collected the money. To outsiders, Amanda looked like a maid, not the daughter of the house. Yet, she never lost her humility. She greeted elders, spoke gently, respected everyone, even those who pitied her. One scorching afternoon, Amanda staggered toward the compound exit way. A heavy basket of refuse balanced on her head. Sweat soaked her torn clothes. As she reached the entrance, Natasha appeared, arms folded. Did you wash my clothes? Amanda froze. No. I was about to. Before she could finish, Natasha snatched the refuse basket and poured the filth all over her. Rotten leaves. Kitchen waste. Amanda gasped, drenched in dirt. How dare you prioritize other chores over mine? Natasha snapped. Mama Natasha rushed out. What is happening? Amanda explained through tears. Her stepmother scoffed. Natasha should have beaten you. Pouring dirt is mercy. She stepped closer. Whenever my daughter sends you on an errand, it becomes your life's priority. Amanda knelt silently, dirt dripping from her hair. That night, she cried alone. They're not at fault, she whispered. My parents are gone. But one day, her voice trembled. One day, I will leave this suffering. But Amanda did not know that destiny had already begun moving pieces, silently, in her favor, and what was coming would shock Bariza to its core. If you're already feeling Amanda's pain, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who loves emotional African stories, and subscribe to Nokera Stories. Turn on the notification bell, so you never miss when we drop powerful tales like this. Because Amanda's story is only just beginning. Years passed, and suffering did not reduce Amanda's burden, it deepened it. While other maidens in Bariza blossomed into womanhood, Amanda withered beneath labor. Her beauty, hidden under sunburn and exhaustion. Her voice, silenced by endless chores. Her dreams, buried beneath her stepmother's cruelty. Natasha, on the other hand, bloomed like a peacock. She attended festivals dressed in the finest wrappers. She wore beads that clinked when she walked. Perfume followed her like royalty. But her pride grew faster than her beauty. One evening at the village square, a trader named Matsi Okoro approached Natasha. He was not rich, but he was hard-working, known to be responsible and ready for marriage. He bowed respectfully. Natasha, I have admired you for long. I wish to ask for your hand in marriage. Natasha looked at him, from head to toe, then laughed. A loud, mocking laugh that drew attention. You, she scoffed. Marry me. Do you even own 2 pairs of clothes? She continued. You traders think counting groundnuts makes you wealthy? Matsi's smile faded. I may not be rich yet, but I. Silence. Natasha snapped. I am not meant for poor men. The square fell quiet. But the humiliation did not end there. The next day, Natasha walked through the market with her friends. They spotted Matsi approaching from afar. She whispered something to them. As he drew closer, they burst into laughter. Look who wants to marry, one mocked. Natasha stepped forward. If you work 10 years straight without eating from your profits, you still won't meet my standard. She leaned closer. Looking at you is irritating. Matsi lowered his gaze in shame. But one of Natasha's friends spoke softly. I don't like this, people shouldn't be looked down on. Natasha hissed loudly. Then don't walk with me. And she stormed off. Her arrogance now was no longer hidden. It had become her identity. Not long after, another life struggled quietly in Bariza. A poor peasant farmer, named Ibuka. He had migrated from a neighboring village called Ataga, seeking greener pastures. But 2 years later, he was poorer than when he arrived. He lived in a tattered hut, owned one faded cloth, and survived mostly on pity gift. Women avoided him, not out of hatred, but poverty. One harvest evening, Mama Natasha went searching for people who needed labor. She was broke, and Amanda was her fastest source of money. She reached Ibuka's farm, only to see harvested crops already packed. Her eyes narrowed. She spotted Ibuka sitting under a tree, money beside him. As she approached quietly, she overheard him speaking to himself. This is my second year in Bariza. I thought I would prosper. Instead, I became poorer. He sighed. I even promised my people I'd return rich with a wife. He looked at the money. All I made this season is 100,000 naira. Mama Natasha smiled slowly. Opportunity had spoken. She stepped forward. Ibuka. He jolted in shock. Mama Natasha, good evening. She sat beside him. Do you want to marry before returning home? His eyes lit up. Yes, but women avoid me. I will get you a wife, she said calmly. He froze. Who? Amanda. His breath caught. Your daughter that works on my farm? Yes. She already knows your work. Your life will be easier. Hope flooded his face. But will she agree? Mama Natasha's smile turned cold. She must. Then her tone changed. But you must give me all this money and more. Ibuka went silent. Inside him, desperation battled reason. If I miss this chance, when will I get another? He thought. Slowly, he pushed the money toward her. I will borrow the rest. She collected it swiftly. Come to my house tomorrow evening. As she walked away, Ibuka's heart danced with joy. But halfway down the road, Mama Natasha burst into wicked laughter. Foolish girl. Meant for the poor. I sold her for chicken change. My daughter will always shine above her. Her laughter echoed into the night. Preparations began immediately. Family elders were summoned. Amanda knew nothing. Until the day before the wedding. While sweeping. You're getting married tomorrow, Mama Natasha said casually. Amanda froze. How? Prepare yourself. No explanation. No consent. The wedding was small. Painfully simple. Ibuka arrived with palm wine, yams, borrowed clothes. Amanda wore one of Natasha's old wrappers. Natasha's friends whispered and laughed. She's marrying a poor farmer. Amanda's eyes stayed on the ground, tears falling silently. They arrived at Ibuka's hut, with only a small bag. Amanda sat on a wooden stool, crying endlessly. When Ibuka tried to console her, she screamed. Days turned to weeks. She refused to speak to him, refused his touch. But Ibuka never got angry. He cooked, cleaned, fetched water, while she lay in silence. Until one morning, when he left for the farm, Amanda whispered to herself, I see a light in this man. I think I should accept my fate. That evening, Ibuka rushed home to cook for her, but stopped at the door. Food aroma filled the hut. Amanda stood there, smiling warmly, for the first time, and Ibuka knew something had changed. From that evening onward, a new life began inside the small, tattered hut. Amanda no longer woke to insults, but to peace. She cooked with joy, fetched water willingly, worked beside Ibuka on the farm, and for the first time since her parents' death, she laughed freely. At night they sang together. Amanda's long-silenced voice returned, soft at first, then powerful again. Ibuka would watch her in awe. "Thank you for being my wife," he would say. Amanda always replied gently, "No, thank you for choosing me." One evening, under moonlight, Ibuka asked the question that lingered in his heart. "Amanda, why did you suddenly accept me?" She smiled. "You're not poor in everything, Ibuka. You're only poor in money, but rich in peace, kindness, and happiness." She held his hand. "I would rather live with a man who gives me joy than one who gives me gold without love." Ibuka laughed softly. "I am the luckiest man alive." And truly, they became inseparable, working together, eating together, dreaming together. But destiny was quietly preparing its grand reveal. One morning, as they ate breakfast, a distant sound echoed across Bariza. "Gong, gong, gong," the town crier. His voice faint in the wind. Ibuka paused. "What is he saying?" Amanda tilted her head. "I can't hear clearly, it must be important." "I'll confirm at the square," Ibuka said. Soon, the entire village gathered around the town crier. He raised his staff and proclaimed, "Hear ye! Hear ye! In the next 4th market days, the Prince of Bariza Kingdom returns." Gasps filled the square. "And according to our sacred tradition, he shall choose his bride from among the maidens of Bariza." The crowd erupted. Drums, cheers, excitement. Every maiden's heart began racing. That night, inside Mama Natasha's house, excitement burned like wildfire. "My daughter," she said proudly, "this is your destiny. You belong in royalty." Natasha smiled confidently. "I know, mother. I will be the one he chooses." Preparations began instantly. New wrappers, coral beads, costly jewelry. 5 maidens were hired just to dress her. Mama Natasha admired her. "If the prince is not blind, he will choose only you." Natasha basked in the fantasy. While far away, Amanda knew nothing of these ambitions. On the morning of the prince's arrival, Ibuka asked gently, "Would you like to attend the ceremony?" Amanda shook her head. "I prefer staying with my husband. This hut gives me more peace than any palace gathering." Ibuka smiled. "I'll stop by after the farm, and gist you everything when I'm back." She laughed softly. "Don't eat too much there. I'll cook your favorite." He chuckled. "I won't." And he left. By sunrise, Bariza Palace was transformed. Red rugs lined the pathways. Drums thundered in rhythm. Dignitaries filled the courtyard. Maidens stood elegantly dressed, each hoping to be chosen. Natasha stood radiant, confidence dripping from her smile. Then, the drums intensified. The prince arrived. Royal guards surrounded him, his face veiled in fine cloth. He greeted the king and queen, then mounted the selection stage. The moderator spoke loudly. "Prince Abaji, behold the maidens of Bariza. Choose your bride." Silence fell. The prince stepped forward slowly, then removed the veil, and Bariza gasped. Shock froze the air, because standing before them was not a stranger. It was Ibuka, the poor farmer. Murmurs exploded across the square. "Ibuka? The poor man? How?" Prince Abaji raised his hand for silence. "I know you are shocked. Yes, I am your prince. For 2 years, I lived among you in disguise. I sought one thing: true love." He continued. "I watched how maidens treated poor men. Many ran toward wealth, not love. False affection, built on riches." He paused. "But I found someone different. Someone who loved me without knowing who I was." He turned toward the guards. "Bring her." Guards had already gone to fetch Amanda. Confused, she was escorted to the palace, dressed hurriedly in royal attire. When she stepped into the courtyard, her eyes met Ibuka's. But now, he stood crowned. Her breath caught. "Amanda," he said warmly, "you loved me when I had nothing. Today, I choose you as my wife officially." The trumpet sounded. The crowd erupted. Amanda stepped onto the stage and embraced her husband. Natasha collapsed in tears. Her dreams shattered publicly. Her friends fell silent in regret. Mama Natasha hid her face in shame. The same Amanda she buried in suffering now stood as royalty. Natasha could no longer walk freely in Bariza. Mockery followed her everywhere. 6 months later, tragedy struck again. Mama Natasha fell gravely ill. All their wealth vanished in treatment. Still, she did not recover. When Amanda heard, she and the prince visited immediately. They hired the best native doctors, paid all expenses, and nursed her back to health. On their next visit, Mama Natasha burst into tears at the sight of her. Natasha hid in shame. "Amanda, please forgive us." They knelt, but Amanda lifted them gently. "I am not offended. My mother is gone. You will always be my mother." She brought food, yams, plantain gift, and left peacefully. After she departed, Mama Natasha looked skyward and wept. Destiny can never be overshadowed. She was born to be great. I tried to bury her light, but she still rose. The question now is, do you agree with Mama Natasha? Can destiny ever truly be hidden, or will it always find its way to the light? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nokera Stories. Turn on the notification bell, so you'll be the first to watch when we release powerful African tales like this. Because here, every story teaches, every pain has purpose, and every destiny must rise.